Hello, hospitality lovers, and welcome to another episode of our podcast, Talking Hospitality by Jiri Lizler. I'm your host, Mauricio, and today we'll hang out with an award-winning commercial architecture photographer, approved by Marriott and Hyatt, and having over 50 hotels as clients. Jiri Lizler, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Usually, in our Jiri community, we start with the human side before business. So tell us who is Jiri and how did you get where you are now?
I like to present myself as a hospitality photographer, which partly means, of course, shooting architecture because, the hotels are their architecture, so with interior design and that kind of stuff. But it's approached a little differently than traditional work for architects. So I try to put a little more life in it. I try to, when I can, people or try to shoot more let's say the venues that are around, the experiences that the people can have in the hotels or around the hotels. I've actually returned like 1 month ago. I was in Rome shooting just the stuff, just the sightseeing that people can see around the hotel. So that's what I usually try to tell clients, that I shoot architecture, but I try to view it as your guests would see it or would want to see it, and then I'll try to capture it, so when they see it on the website, they want to book it right away.
What came first for you, photography or hospitality?
It was photography, but very early on I decided to shift my focus from the architecture stuff, because I always wanted to shoot architecture. I picked up camera like 14 years ago, where I wanted to shoot videos because I was heavily into military and special forces training. So and I liked to record myself, but like a video, movies. So but I couldn't pursue my special forces training further because of injuries that are quite obvious. So that's why I kind of shifted towards shooting still pictures, and I always liked interior design and the photographs of the view of the beach or something like that. So I wanted to do something like that, and but that led me into like the architecture interior stuff. But when I try to approach architects and other let's say clients that might use it, they didn't have money. One thing. The second, the style that they wanted was very different that I wanted to shoot. So gradually what happened was that I got first hotel, then the second, then the third, and the snowball effect. And then now I know almost everybody in the Czech Republic that I'm based in, and I just love shooting for hotels because it's always a challenge. There's always something different about the hotel. We are shooting rooms, right, mostly, but each room is different. So I kind of gradually found my way working for hospitality, and that's something that I know for. I'm known for like 7 years that I want to work exclusively for hospitality. It doesn't mean that I don't shoot architecture or interiors for interior designers, but that's like 5% of what I do.
I read a quote from you. And I decided to bring you because I found that was quite impactful. And you said, we focus on presenting a space with emotions in mind rather than creating a plain photograph of the space.
Yeah.
I believe that the hotelier listening today would like to know a little bit more about it. What do you mean by presenting a space with emotions in mind?
Because when I was starting, there's different kinds of photography when it's related to interior design or architecture. The first one is like for realtors, right? When they want to sell a space. So they usually go wide and they want to show the whole room, how big and vast it is.
Yes.
That's like the first thing. So I immediately know, I've known that I don't want that because it's ugly. And I'll say why. And when I was shooting for the hotels, they usually wanted me, we want you to capture the whole space so the people can feel the room. And what I was telling them all the time is that you want them to focus on certain elements, because if you are looking at a movie, for example, you're not seeing the whole space that's around the actors. You are seeing what the director wants you to see, so you get a feel. So he is directing you at what you should be feeling, because clients or the customers, I don't want to say that it sounds bad, but it sounds bad, but they're dumb. You want to direct them to a specific types or specific angles of the room, that you can present the textures, you can present the view or the vanity, or the amenities. So it's different. So if I were to shoot a room with a fisheye, and fisheye lens is basically, if you on your iPhone or your phone put ultra wide, right, that you see everything. But what it does is that one thing, it stretches everything. So the bed that you've spent tens of thousands of crowns to be good and lush will be of a size of a carrier. So it will look like two people can play basketball on that bed, and it's not gonna represent the space, the size, the actual size of it. That's the first thing. The second thing is that the distortion, the other thing, and that's main for me, is that people will get lost because they will see so much that they will not see what you want them to see. Kind of referencing to the movies, because I was one of the pioneers here in the Czech Republic that put tighter lens, so I showed just a little bit of the room. I'm not showing anything, and so gradually they kind of like trusted me that I'm not showing everything, I'll just show slightly what I want them to see. So I want them to see that it's a queen size or it's a king size, but they don't have to see the whole bed to get a sense of that there is a bed there. Or the lamp does not have to be there, in like there's these bed lamps right next to the beds, but people can see just one bed, just one lamp on one side, and on the other side they can see just half of the lamp. It doesn't have to be visible on the other, because they're not dumb, they know it exists outside the picture, right? So it was these kinds of like interactions between me and the clients where I shot it to I usually presented them with two pictures. One image would be like the image, the wide angle, the what they wanted, and then what I wanted, so they could see before and after. And 99.9% they always selected what I wanted, because it kind of like shifts you and puts you into perspective of what we want to showcase. And yeah, so that is what I meant by that quote.
That's super interesting. That's super interesting to follow the thinking process behind it, because
I mean, it's hard. It's very hard for the people too, because they spend like insane amounts of money to for the design, and they want to showcase everything. But the problem with that, if you showcase everything, it will get lost in translation. You have to we are basically using, I'm calling it visual anchors, and those visual anchors are certain objects that I am basing. What I'll basically do is I'll shoot 2 or 3 images per room, and they are showing different parts of the room. It's not in the one. It's not in one picture, but it's painting the story of the room, what they can do. But it's not in one. It's not one image, so it's like a story.
Painting the story of the room, hotelier. Right now, hospitality is going through like a very big moment. Yes, a pivotal moment. It's really changing. The industry is changing really fast. The world is changing really fast. And what would you tell the hotelier about the importance of hotel photography today, and how can hotels do better?
To me, I don't really see the change from my perspective. I just, get asked to get quotes or something. So it's shifted towards like, with all the social media that you are being overwhelmed with imagery, right? So you need to, what I usually, when I'm shooting, I always want to present the space the best it can be. Like who would like to do something different, right? So that's not something special. But I don't like to overstyle the images, the room. So my style at least is to like present everything that is in the room. So when people come in, it will they cannot go to the reception and say, hey, the room doesn't look like that at all, right? So we are not lying. So being like, being authentic and making it bigger than life, larger than life, making it look better, waiting for the light. Yes, of course, definitely. But not trying to create something that is unnecessary. So what I mean by that is I used, when it was a let's say older hotel or something, I used to shoot a lot during the night. I'm calling these blue hour shots, and they are shot during the blue hour, when the sun sets. And it is a magical moment for like 15 minutes. And the sun sets, there's this moment. So I used to shoot a lot of images for these like lower quality hotels, and but then I found like it's not lying to people, definitely not, because this moment happens for 15 minutes only, right? So now I kind of shifted towards like presenting the space like during the day, and on some occasions when I know we want, for example, when the hotel has something major, like let's say view to the Prague Castle, or something that is like eye-catching for the social media, so we can grab more the attention, I will shoot the blue hour. I'll shoot something that is striking, that is the hero shot. I'm calling those hero shots of the hotel. We will dedicate that time, but only for one image. That is that this can happen. But for the rest, I like to stick to presenting the space as most people would see it. There is a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes when we are shooting. It's not just me like showing on location with a camera and shooting 100 images, and you get to choose. So when I work, I always want a shot list from the clients, which basically says that we need, let's say we have superior rooms, we have deluxes, we have whatever standards and that kind of stuff, and I want them to write everything from the highlights of the room to how many images needs to be shot there, because what we usually shoot is 10 to 15 images per day. That's how low the image count is, and because we are making sure that everything is correct in the image, we are staging, we are moving furniture, we are scouting before, so the light is the best in the room. That's, let's say in smaller hotels. For bigger hotels, for resorts, we have to plan so the guests are not in the shop. If it's a new opening, of course we are fine, but there's different problems with not finished furniture is not there, or the facade is wrong, or the light switches don't work, so the electricity is not on. So there is so many options that can go wrong, right? So there is a lot of planning that needs to happen before the actual shoot, and us shooting is just the final cherry on top, right? But the planning needs to be there. The management of the hotel needs to do the heavy work to making sure that the rooms are ready, so we are not we don't appear in the room and the bed is not made, or the windows are dirty or something like that. So it's difficult. Yeah. It's not like architecture photography to most people is like showing on at the space like at the time and shooting for one day and then going back. We are doing the same, but we are making sure that everything is working and planning before, many days before, so it's ready.
That's I think that's a great piece of advice for our audience there. So the planning is not just showing up and taking 1,000 photos.
Plan is not to just call the photographer, hey, we need some images. That's great. I mean, like, I'm getting those like emails quite a lot, but what I want to know is how many rooms there is, how many images do you need, is it a new hotel, or are you have you redesigned, is it just a redesign, or are you adding my images on top of other people's images, or are we doing complete redesign of the website that you have? What's the format of the images? Do you want me like to shoot just the standard ratio, which is this, or are we also shooting like vertical? These types, these information is vital for everything. because nowadays hotels are also like, it's not about shooting just the interior design, just the architecture, but also the people, the emotion. So we are shooting with people now. So that's so we need to do casting. Somebody needs to do the makeup. Somebody needs to plan where we are going to shoot, right? So it's like, it's not like one email and I'll send you the price, how much it costs. It's not like that. So, and the big brands, they usually they have these, like, for example, Marriott has like a PDF of 65 pages just for how everything should be shot. So how to prepare a shot list. So these guys from the corporate, they are most of them at least are very like well versed in the art of like hiring photographers. That's why there's an approval process, because you need to like make sure that the first of all, the technical stuff, so the photographs are crisp and are of the highest quality, because they have the money to spend, first of all, and second of all, that the photographers will execute. They'll show and they'll make sure that they are, because we are directors at one point, right? We arrive at the hotel and ask the right questions. Is this ready? Can we shoot there now? I need this moved. I need this moved. And it's basically not me just showing at the space, shooting something and leaving.
Yeah, that's amazing. Our public is more the independent hoteliers, and probably they don't have this full picture of how the corporates can work and see like how detailed it is and how well planned it is. Today, as we just said, we're being flooded with social media, and the hotels are using their own staff to take photos and post on their own social media. Yes, something that's not as professional, that doesn't go through that stage. And would you have any suggestion for this hotelier that is doing things in-house?
Spend money on photographers that shoot the official materials that go on your website, that go on Booking, TripAdvisor, and use people to shoot for your social media. Don't you put my images that cost hundreds of dollars on Instagram, because they will not. There isn't the audience for that on social media. We are making sure, photography for like hospitality is we are working to present the space, as I said, as accurately, and to make people book, to give them the information as much as we can via images, and to make them book. Like 5-6 years ago, I would tell them to put those images also on Instagram, and they can do that too, but people very quickly recognize that this image is staged. It's not, they can say it's not authentic. It is, but it is well executed. It is well planned. Stuff on social media, I'm not saying that it's not well planned, but you can see that it's more natural. It's more, let's say, it's not as perfect. It's not as picture perfect. So they recognize that it's fake, more fake than it's not fake, but you know what I mean. So what I would do is definitely use people, the guests, the clients, to make them shoot the images for you and tag you on social media, and so you can use that, because people will relate to stuff other people, other clients shot there, rather than So what I like to say is, like, if I see a commercial in TV that's backed by let's say a famous person, I always like a celebrity, I always like tell myself he's been paid, right? It's like fake.
Yeah.
He's not using that, right? So, but if it's somebody that you don't know, you relate to them a bit more. So that's kind of my process of using photographers, especially for the website that needs to be crisp, and for brochures and this materials, of course. But for social media, I use something that is cheaper, and don't mix it.
Yeah, probably more efficient even, because it
relates. It is because I will gladly shoot for you for thousands of dollars per day that you put it on social media, but you would go bankrupt. For let's say 1 month, right? So we are making, as I said, 10 to 15 images a day.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. I think that's a really good suggestion there. To understand the difference of not mixing that. I think that this is where probably the hotelier makes the biggest mistake, is buying professional photos, well executed, that is yours, that is to sell a room to make a profit, and then mixing with unprofessional photos.
You want to grab their attention on social media. You want multiple channels, right? It's marketing one-on-one. You want multiple channels, the web of people where you're catching them and directing them through the funnel. That's like the basic one, right? But you want them to direct them to either your website or booking or whatever that your goal is. But then it needs to be like consistent. So what I hate is that when my images are put together either with a bad photography that was before, or with photography that's made for social media, because it looks like I'm calling it a weakest link in the chain, which basically means that if you are a visitor and you go on their website, right, and you're looking through and you say this image is perfect and blah blah blah, and you see, and then there is this one image that just stands out, right, that's like not the good quality. You will always judge the brand or the hotel by that weakest. So you've spent thousands of dollars on imagery and then fucked up because you included one image that was like, that shouldn't be there at all, but for some weird reason you like it, or I don't know why. So I usually like to give a look when I shoot for somebody. I like 2-3 months after, I look at their website and try to see whether there is something that I don't like. And this recently I have shot conferences for this one brand. It was corporate, and I was quite happy, and it was quite expensive for them, I imagine. And then I looked at their website, and then I saw my images next to these cheap looking, like technically not well executed images. And I was like, oh my God, why did they pay me? And then why did they put this next to it? Why? Like I can imagine that they forgot something, forgot to tell me something, that I should shoot something, or I don't know. I'm not asking at that point, but these things happen because I don't know, life, I guess.
That's why we created this show. It's like to educate the hoteliers, so to understand and not make the mistakes that other people make, or even repeat the same mistakes that they don't know that they are making. So it's really good piece of information, really good piece of advice. Now, before we finish, we just always do a little exercise here. Like I'm a very big fan of Back to the Future, and we imagine that you are jumping with Dr. Emmett Brown 10 years ahead, because now definitely we can't go too far ahead. 10 years ahead, so it's 2032, and you need to stay overnight. You need to find a place to stay. How do you think that hospitality will be in 10 years time?
I will think it's gonna be the same, but they will have to fight over even bigger flood of images. I don't want to. I mean, are you asking what I want to or what I don't want to?
Your vision.
My vision. I sincerely hope that it's gonna stay with images, because, like, to me, images are like they can provide more information quickly rather than the video. I don't really like video, because now what's happening is these jump cuts that they are crazy. They try to grab your attention and keep it, and I get annoyed because it tires you a lot. It's like very tiring. So I don't like that. But I hope it will not come to us, like, making these crazy videos to grab people's attention. To me, what's gonna happen, what I hope is that people will get annoyed by that, and they will look for the serenity, for the calm stuff. So they will always, young people, of course, if you are a brand for young people, do jump cuts, do video, do everything to grab their attention. I like design. I like to appreciate design, and I don't want any video to grab my attention, to book your, the room that costs $1,000 per day, per night. So I hope that it's gonna stay still. The social media will play part, but I still think that the website is the best way to present the brand, and I hope that it's gonna stay like that.
Yeah. Do you think that the metaverse will play an important role in that?
I don't think so. For, let's say that there's these types of people that like to escape into the metaverse, right? But you will always have to go outside. I don't think it's gonna be as big. When the VR first came, like let's say 4 years ago, where the Quest and all because I'm into gaming, so I'm quite versed in these in the metaverse and that kind of stuff. But I don't find myself like wanting to go there at all. I like to hang out, talk, get a coffee. When I want, I'll play a game on PlayStation, right? But I'm not gonna book a hotel when I can just look at their website, and I don't want to use my VR to book a hotel when I'm playing. That's like no. I want to, the hoteliers are spending so much money on the actual textures when you arrive at the hotel, and there's no way that you could let's say exchange the senses, like 5 senses that you have, right? Touch, feel. You cannot exchange that via the VR, and I hope that it's not gonna come to pass, because from what I've seen, like the 360s and the other ways of presenting the hotel, to me most of the time doesn't look like that would make me book the hotel. I want to be I want my attention to be grabbed somehow, and then I want to look at the website and look how great it looks, the design that speaks to me, that there is nothing distracting, and then I'll just book it.
Jiri, that was an amazing chat. That was really inspiring. I really thank you very much for sharing your knowledge, your experience, because it's rare to find someone that work with the big brands and to talk how it's done and have that way of thinking. It was really good. Thank you very much for hanging out with us.
Thank you very much. Feel free to reach out if you want to talk more about, let's say, there's so many topics, and I'm sorry that I've overloaded you with all the information, because I know it's quite a lot to handle most of the time. So feel free to reach back, and we can make something.
We will. But before that, how can people find you?
They can use my name, which is Jiri. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna say Jiri. It's Jiri. It's jirilizler.com. I'm sure maybe we can put a link under. So I usually like to direct people to my portfolio, my website, because that's how I want to be perceived and that's how I want to be viewed, right? So I'm a photographer, so I want my work to speak for me. And or on LinkedIn. I like to be on LinkedIn. I find that a lot of hospitality clients are there, and it's a social media for me because it's slow. There's not tons of images, right? No moving. I like that. That's a nice change.
Great. So Schillering will put Yushi's link for you, okay? And again, thank you very much. It was a pleasure to have you in the show.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.